astrologer Wonder Girl, and you're watching Wonder Plus, your gateway to creative intelligence. Now, this is going to be a part of my new membership program where I talk more about the news, current events, industry trends going on in business, government, politics, that kind of thing, okay? And where I do profiles of business leaders, of celebrities, of people just in the news to give you new perspectives on life, on what's going on, help you see things in different ways that perhaps you did not consider, okay? So that's what's going on here. This one is going to be about Trump and how the solar eclipse is going to affect Trump, okay? Just to kind of give it a test run, see how it's going to go, and also just because I'm interested as well. You know, I woke up this morning with like a fire in my belly, okay, because I had some kind of interesting conversations last night before bed on some astrology groups that I'm a part of about Trump's chart, okay, and about what's going on for Trump at the solar eclipse and what's going to happen. I think there are a lot of people, especially astrologers, who think that there's going to be major doom and gloom for Trump at this eclipse, that it's going to be really, really bad for him, and I just don't see that. I don't see it, you know, to be honest. And I think that's been really very frustrating for me, that that's kind of what people are saying, that that's what news organizations are writing, that astrologers are saying. You know, Newsweek and Business Insider both had, or was it Business Insider? It was Newsweek and USA Today both had articles about how astrologers think that this solar eclipse is going to be a disaster for Trump, and I just don't like it when they do some stuff like that, especially when I disagree. So we're going to go into his chart and take a look at that. I'm going to show you his birth chart, and then we're going to look at the solar eclipse that is about to happen tomorrow, the lunar eclipse, and then 2020 that I think could be problematic for him and what is going on, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive into his chart. Now, I've got his birth chart here right now that we're looking at, and this is what we're going to start with, okay? This is where all the planets were when he was born. I'm going to fill in where all the planets are right now, the transiting planets that are in his chart. I know them by memory, okay, just because I look at this stuff a lot, so I'm going to fill those in as we go, all right? Now, the solar eclipse is going to happen here at 28 degrees, all right, Leo. All right, when we look at 28 degrees Leo in his chart to see where it is, we see right here, he's got a 29-degree Leo ascendant, okay? Your ascendant sign is like your identity because it rules your first house, you know? So it's like everything about you and who you are and how you present yourself to the world and how people look at you and who people think you are, okay? It has a lot to do with this sign, and he's got the solar eclipse there, which is going to bring a major new beginning, okay? So that's just going to be a new identity for him, a new beginning in the way people see him, perhaps in the way that he wants to be seen, in the way that he presents himself to the world, okay? I think that's what's going on there for him, because it's conjunct Mars, which is 26 degrees, 2 degrees off of the solar eclipse. I think he's also going to try to act in new ways, act in different ways, okay, to get what he wants, to be seen in a new light, all right, so that he can really have this new beginning and move forward, all right? That's basically what I think is going to happen for him at this eclipse. Now, whenever you look and do predictive work, you can't just look at the planets that are involved. You also have to look at the signs that those planets rule to see how they will manifest and how they will ultimately affect Trump. So I'm going to take a look at Aries, since Mars rules Aries, to see what's going on there. And Aries rules his 9th house of something new, all right? I know I've been saying that the solar eclipse brings new beginnings, but the 9th house also is a house of something new as well, all right? So I think he's definitely going to be trying to act in new ways, because the 9th house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. I think he's going to be more experimental with the way that he acts, trying things that he has not tried before, okay, to get what he wants, or to be a new person and to try to have some kind of new reputation or be seen differently. I think that's going to happen. 9th house also rules travel, could be more traveling going on, rules people far from home, could be dealing more with foreign affairs or things like that, okay? That's happening. Also rules study and learning, so he could be learning something new, doing something he has not done before, just in some way, okay? So I think that's what's going to be going on for him. We've got the sun and the moon as well, which make an eclipse happening, and the moon rules Cancer in his 11th, and the sun rules Leo in his 12th. So I think he's also trying to come into new chapters with the public, okay, because the 11th house rules the public, all right, as well as reaching some of his goals. Maybe he has some campaign promises that he really wanted to move forward on, that he's going to try to get a new push behind, fresh air, to really begin to reach those and try to reach them in ways that he hasn't done before, okay? Because Leo rules his 12th, I think he's also trying to get right with himself, come into new chapters about how he just thinks about his life, about what's going on inside him, and refresh himself internally, okay, so that he can begin to do some things he hasn't done to get some kind of different result. all right, to be seen in a different way by the people. I think that's what's going to happen. To me, that's really all there is that's in an exact aspect to his to the solar eclipse. There's really not much else that's super close going on in his chart. I mean, I know it's conjunct Regulus there, and the ascendant is a huge thing, but I don't see anything else being bad. If we wanted to talk about other things though that were going on in his chart, we would expand the orbs to make them a little wider and include other things that are close to the eclipse but aren't exact, and that would give us, this would be the closest, Venus and Saturn, that he's got at 25 and 23 degrees. Cancer, which would be about 3 to 5 degrees off of this eclipse, okay, which would make it so that he's trying to get right with people, with the public. He's trying to reach some of his goals, okay, but maybe he's having a little bit of trouble with it, trouble with people, trouble with Congress. 11th house also rules Congress in some way, and I think he's trying to figure out how to work better with people and how to work better with Congress to really do more of the things that are just important to him as a whole, okay. Again, I don't see this being bad. It's a semi-sextile that I think semi-sextiles are very helpful, trying to help organize things, bring things together. I don't think that that's going to be too bad. If you wanted to expand the orbs even more on this eclipse, we would also take a look at his sun and his north node, which are at 22 degrees and 20 degrees, which would be about 6 and 8 degrees off. And we would look at his south node and his moon, okay. We can look at that, but then again, these are both in positive aspects because Leo and Gemini and Sagittarius get along very, very well, okay? So I don't even see, there's no doom and gloom coming here with this. I think he's trying to have a new identity, be a new person so that he can move up in his career, okay? Have a better reputation, have people see himself better, have more power and more dominance. I think that's a big thing, and I think he might have an opportunity to use things from his past in order to do that, okay? That's what's going on there. If he wanted to expand the orbs even wider than that and get to 10 degrees, we could see the eclipse is making an aspect here to Jupiter in his second house, but even then that's a sextile, 60 degrees, it's positive, and it's Jupiter, okay? So it's a new beginning to help him cultivate new gifts and talents, to earn more money and get more income, okay? To use new skills or cultivate new skills as well. So I also don't see that being a bad thing. I think it being very helpful for him to just do things new and to build more stability and do things differently, okay? That are gonna be better for him. All right, so that's what I see going on there. Now, if we want to talk about the lunar eclipse, because I think the lunar eclipse probably affected him a little bit more strongly, because there were more planets exact, we'll talk about that, okay? So the lunar eclipse here happened at 15 degrees, Aquarius, all right? And that is going to be about right here for him, 15 degrees where the moon was, all right, 2 weeks ago. And that was a big ending for him here in his 6th of his job, of his daily routines, of what he does practically on the day-to-day, very outwardly in some way, okay? Maybe this is why some people think he's gonna get impeached or lose his job, because the 6th house definitely does indicate an ending in your job in some way, but he still has a lot of other positive things going on that I don't think will make that, and that haven't, you know, made that. And if anything, other people have lost their job as a result of Trump. So I don't think that's gonna be going on. I think he's trying to figure things out at work and with his daily routines so that he can then do the solar eclipse thing and become this new person and act in new and different ways to help him out, all right? These endings happening in his daily routines had a lot to do here with Jupiter, because it was within 2 degrees of this lunar eclipse. So I think he was trying to end perhaps some old gifts and talents that he had, some old skills that he used, some old ways of thinking about himself and who he is, okay, so that he can make room for a new identity to come in too, and so that he can learn new skills and new things that he needs. And I think he was trying to get rid of some of these old talents that he had and these old things that he always relied on, okay, so that he could make some new things happen for him. On top of that, the lunar eclipse is almost exact with Uranus, so there were unexpected things happening here with his career and with other people in his career, since Aquarius also rules the 7th, happening there that were coming up from very fast. Some endings in his daily routines that affected his career, okay? I see that happening. It was also opposing the Pluto-Mars midpoint here in his 12th, so I think he has a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes with him in some way, you know? I think he's got a lot of stuff going on in a job, but and we know he has some secrets that he keeps, some things we don't always know what's going on, and I think he's trying to figure out how to bring these two together, how to bring what's happening inside and behind closed doors out into the public, and how to align them both together in some way. I think he's trying to figure that out, and he's got some intense things going on in secret, going on inside, maybe some emotional, like weird turmoil inside himself too, that he's trying to figure out. How can I be more practical with this? How can I have my daily routines and my job better mirror what is going on inside, so that there's not this crazy flip-flopping duality happening here, and that they both work together. And I think he really is trying to figure out how to have a administration that resonates more truly with who he is and with what he wants, so that things don't have to be so secretive all the time, and that he can really be seen as a different person in the light of other people. Okay, I think that's what's happening there. If we also wanted to go again and expand the orbs to 20 degrees, which would be about 5 degrees off, that would also be very positive. Some opportunities here to build more stability into his life in some way as well, using his career. The only thing he may have an issue with is this 11th house stuff, working with the people. We know he has problems working with people. All right. And I think he's maybe trying to figure some of that stuff out, and to think very differently about how he works with the public and about how he works with Congress, so that he can let new things come in. All right, that's what I see going on for him. On top of all of that stuff, to think about things other than the sun and the moon, he's got Jupiter on his Jupiter, going for his Jupiter return right now, which is a good time, brings lots of good luck and good fortune, especially with the second house and income and confidence, okay, and his gifts and talents. So that's happening there. He's got that going on for him. He also has Saturn here on his moon and on his south node. That can be a little hard for him. Maybe he's feeling a little stifled emotionally, has some very hard emotions, doesn't feel like he can express himself emotionally in the way that he wants. But I also don't think that's being bad. You have to remember he won the presidency when Saturn was right here on his sun, okay? So, or right here on his moon, excuse me. So I think he's still trying to figure some of that stuff out. Jupiter is also going to sextile Saturn during the solar eclipse. So he's opening up some opportunities to commit to building more stability into his life, using his gifts and talents, with some things that are close to him. So I see that happening there. I don't think that it's going to be too bad, and all of these things are in very good aspect to a lot of other stuff happening. Okay, so I don't think he's gonna have a problem. The worst thing he's got going on right now is Pluto hanging out here, changing what makes him happy is changing. New things are coming in, and supposing, not yet, but some of his planets in the 11th. Okay, I think that's what's going on there. We also had Neptune, which was where in his 7th of partners, okay, and 7th of other people, open enemies, one-on-one relationships as well, making a quincunx over here to Chiron. So I think he has some confusion about some people in his life, about some commitments that he's making that are a little uncomfortable for him and for who he is, that he's also trying to figure out to overcome some of this stuff. All right, so that's what's going on with Trump there. Now I do want to talk about, before we go, and without this video getting too long, what's going to happen in 2020, okay? Because as I said at the beginning of this video, I don't think this eclipse is going to be bad for him. I think he's going to come into new ways of relating to the people and the public. They're going to see him in different ways. They're going to get a different version of him. He's going to be very different, okay? He may still have some opinions a lot of people don't like, okay? But I think it's going to be a little bit of a different tone and a little different way moving forward, where he's going to try to finally get a hang of things and be more stable and to be more in line with himself, so that his actions align with his campaign promises and with some of his visions that he had, okay? I think that's what's going to happen there. What I am worried about though is 2020 for him. I don't think 2020 is going to be good. He's getting hit by a lot of hard planets, and that's when I would put my money on something intense going down with him and his presidency and with the country, okay, and with just the world. That's because we're going to have Saturn and Pluto conjunct here in his 5th house in Capricorn, okay? And Saturn and Pluto come conjunct once every 35 years. The last time this happened was like 35 years ago, okay? And they bring major changes in your commitments and authority figures, taking down authority figures. People born with Saturn and Pluto, who are about 35 right now, okay, are revolutionary. Maybe they have problems with authority in some way, and especially in Capricorn, it's a lot about business, it's a lot about leadership, it's a lot about politics. Big changes going on in the foundations of the world, okay, and of some of our commitments, just in general. All right, I think that's what's going to happen there. All right, so it's going to be very intense. Donald Trump is going to feel it more intensely, obviously, because he's our president, okay, but because this alignment is making some serious aspects to his chart, okay? This 22 degrees, if we want to look at it, right here is going to indicate big changes in what makes him happy and what he loves and what makes him feel joy, okay? The 5th house is a happy house. Also a good one like the 9th house, but with Saturn and Pluto here, he can't be as happy as he wants. It's not a good house with Saturn and Pluto here because he's feeling stifled and he doesn't know what makes him happy and he's having to figure some things out, okay? I think that's what's going on there. What makes this even more interesting for him is going to exactly oppose Saturn and Venus for him, okay? So he's having to make some choices between what he wants and what makes him happy, which is already in turmoil, okay? He doesn't know what he wants. It's changing what he wants, what he enjoys in his relationships in some ways. And he's gonna have to make some choices between that and this other thing that is very hard for him with Congress and with the public and with his relationships and with his money, okay? He's got Saturn opposite Saturn. Not an easy transit for anybody. I don't care who you are, you know, unless you got other things going on in your chart that are good, which he does not. All right, so he's got some big choices between what he wants and what makes him happy and his goals and the people that he works with and the public and Congress that are going to be very hard for him to balance, okay? Either he's going to have to give up some things that makes him happy to do the Congress and the people thing, which he already struggles with, or he's going to have to give up making the people happy to do what he wants and what makes him happy, okay? I think that's going to be a thing there. While that's going on, it's going to be, what else? Here, in a quincunx with his sun and with his north node, so he's gonna have to think very differently about his career, about how he, where he sees his life going, about what makes him happy in his career. All right, quincunxes are a little difficult. Also, it's gonna be here in another quincunx, all right, with his ascendant and with Mars, so his identity is going to be changing, who he thinks he is and what makes him happy is going to be going on there. All right, I think that's going to happen. We've also got all of this coming in a square almost with Jupiter, so he wants to be confident, he wants to have income, he wants to have more stability in his life, and he can't have that, okay, because he's got a lot of changes going on with what makes him happy. He's got a lot of changes going on here with the public, all right? This is going to be forming a T-square, so a lot of issues going on with his money, with his stability, not feeling so stable anymore, not feeling so confident about his life and where it's going. All right, that's what I see happening there. And it's not just one planet that's going to be there. It's going to be Saturn, it's going to be Pluto, it's also going to be Jupiter. Jupiter's going to square his Jupiter and his Chiron, so he's going to want to expand his life to do more of what makes him happy, more of what he wants, more of what he likes to move up in the world. And he's not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be easy for him. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very unsettling. Lots of instability, worrying about his income, worrying about the people that he's working with, and all of that, okay? That's what I see going on there for him. On top of that, he's got Neptune in his 7th house of other people and of partnerships, making a quincunx to his Jupiter almost exactly. So lots of confusion about other people and about what's going on. That's adding to this insecurity that he's feeling, okay? We're also going to have this Neptune coming in here to Uranus, right? It's going to be about 15 or so coming into his Uranus over here, which is going to be in a square, all right, which is going to bring up lots of unexpected confusion about his career, especially with other people, about where his career is going. That could be very hurtful for him, very unsettling, very unstable, that he's going to have to figure out how to work with, all right? That isn't going to be easy. So I don't think it's going to be a big time for him, a really good one. Now, I went ahead, I might end on this, and I looked back at what was going on the last time this happened, okay? Saturn takes about 30 years to come back around to where it was. He's 70, he's up there, so he was definitely around the last time this happened, because I wanted to see, how did this manifest before for him? You know, what will it be like this time around? All right, and now I know you can't always count on everything being the same, because sometimes things are going to be a little bit different, okay? Last time he was there, I think there was Uranus was also in this spot. The same time Saturn was there last. Neptune was also there. Uranus and Neptune aren't going to be there, but you're still going to have Pluto is going to be there. Jupiter, Saturn. It's going to be really interesting. And I went and I did some research, and I just want to let you know what happened the last time this happened to him, okay? This was in 1990 was the last time Saturn was in this spot opposing his Saturn while Neptune and while Uranus is there. And I looked up his interview with Charlie Rose that he did in 1990. Okay, and this is what he told Charlie Rose, or maybe this was in 1992. He says this, and this is right when Saturn was opposing his Saturn, squaring a bunch of his other planets. He goes, I never thought I was invincible because I've seen too much. You have to learn from history about others. I never thought I was invincible, but I had a 15-year run that was virtually unprecedented. I had a tremendous run. All of a sudden, 1990 hit. I remember there was an article, welcome to the 90s, but 1990 hit. The economy was crashing, the banks were crashing, everything was crashing. What happened is I learned a lot about myself, I learned a lot about other people. Then Charlie Rose goes, you keep saying I learned. What did you learn about yourself? What was it? I think I learned for real that I'm a pretty tough guy, because it takes a tough guy. It takes the brains, it takes this. But it also takes toughness, because to go through a period of turmoil where everything seems to be going in the wrong direction and survive it and end up, as they say in my new magazine covers, are coming back. Okay, and it goes on into that, but I think that that's very important, that he just admitted that was like one of the worst years of his life, that he had big growth, unprecedented growth, and then all of a sudden 1990 hits and everything keeps falling down, okay, and keeps crumbling, and that's what he is coming into again, all right? I think he was mentioning a lot of stuff about money. The stock market, of course, was falling, so he was losing a lot of money then, okay? On top of that, in the earlier interview, he talks about a bunch of people that were loyal to him, that he thought was loyal to him in his business or wherever it was, turned against him, okay, that he was not expecting. Okay, so I think a lot of that happened, okay, that did not go very well for him. That was very upsetting. He was having problems. I think his mom called him out for like supporting Mike Tyson or something like that, so he was going through some very hard times. I think he had a divorce as well, and that was when he made a lot of those really rude comments about women too that were very hard for him, okay? So that was what happened in 1990, and he's coming into the same spot again, all right? Definitely a little bit more difficult with Pluto there too, bringing up major big changes, old ways of relating coming down. And while that's going on, he's got a progressed new moon too, so a new identity is coming in that he was not anticipating, to become some kind of new person based on all of this drama that's gonna go on here, okay? He survived that, which is good, so he may be able to do it again here, but things, you know, but who knows what's gonna happen this time on that go around. So I just wanted to bring that up here, that he's coming into one of the hardest times of his life, okay, which he went through 30 years ago, which he explained was very, very difficult, all right? And that's the kind of problem that you get when you have a lot of stuff in your chart, just to show you, in compatible signs, all right? Sorry, this is getting kind of long here, but he has a lot in his chart in air, okay, fire, air, fire, all right? Air and fire get along very well. They like each other. Whenever something's in good aspect to air, it's in an even better aspect to fire, you know? It's a good thing, all right? But the bad thing about having so many planets together in these signs is that whenever you get something that just happens to be in some other kind of water or earth aspect, they all go downhill very fast, you know? So when he said he had unprecedented growth, it's like, well, of course you did, because you had this great growth when you got all these planets in air and fire just like teaming up together to make things happen. But when everything starts shifting into Earth, which it's going to do very soon, with Uranus moving into Taurus, Pluto being in Capricorn, Saturn moving into Capricorn, Jupiter moving into Capricorn 3 years from now, okay, he's gonna have a huge downfall. It's gonna be very fast, and it's gonna be very hard for him, especially because all this Capricorn stuff is going to oppose a bunch of these water planets that would normally be good for him. Okay, so I don't know, I just think that's what is going on here, you know, and it's where you see other people who have more balanced charts. They take the good with the bad, you know? People who have earth and air and fire and water and a bunch of different elements and things like that, it's much easier for them to take the good with the bad. They don't have any of these times of huge expansive growth, maybe like Trump has had, but they don't have any huge downfalls either. You know, they just kind of are here and there and things like that. And then you get people with a chart like Trump's who are very concentrated in one area, and they have these huge successes, but they also have these big falls as well. And Regulus too, which he's got a major player in his chart since his ascendant, and his Mars is there also contributes to major big expansions and progress, but also big falls as well, okay? I don't want to be a downsayer or a negative, you know, naysayer against what's going to happen with Trump, but at the same time, I do want to be very honest about about what I see and what is happening, okay? And that is the value of astrology, is to see the future and to see what's coming and to be able to tell people, okay, watch it, you know, this is happening, prepare now, do what you can to prepare for this thing coming up, and the vice versa too, to tell people who are struggling to say, okay, it's not gonna be like this forever, there's gonna be an end, the end is coming, this is how you deal with things in the meantime, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do here. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope it wasn't too long, but if you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.
Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight.